Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different. We're in a new setting. We're in my back patio. It's a little bit chilly for fall, so I grabbed a sweatshirt. And we are filming on a new camera, and I have a wireless mic set up, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I hope this turns out good. But I'm shooting my whole food plant-based journey with you guys because I think it's important to know how I got here, why I stick to it, what health benefits I've seen, and why I made this YouTube channel. And so to kind of back up and give you some background is that I grew up eating the standard American diet. We ate lots of dairy, meat, and carbs were bad, and just like lived a normal life. I thought I was healthy. We ate lots of chicken, stuff like that. And when I was in 5th or 6th grade, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and she was only 36. So life kind of got obviously really stressful and scary. And then, she went through treatment, and at the same time, I think the same year, my dad had a heart attack and had to get triple bypass surgery. So one of them, I remember them telling about my mom at Easter, and my dad was right before Christmas. So lots of stress, very scary, not sure if my parents were going to make it, just not a great time, those like 5th, 6th, 7th grade years. And so, we thought we were doing everything healthy. I struggled with my weight pretty much after the age of 6. You could see photos. I look like a normal, happy kid, and then you can see me putting on the weight. It's really obvious. If I can find some, I'll put them on the screen now. And I still played soccer, tried to be active, what I thought, and was already conscious about my weight already. Only after the age of 6, I kind of already knew I had a tummy and all these things. And so going through my parents being sick, they both recovered from their illness. It just was eating a lot of fast food at that time because, people don't want to cook, and just, doing the best you can in that situation. So I relatively thought I was healthy. I went to high school. I joined the soccer team in 9th grade. I probably was the smallest in 9th grade because I was really active, but my eating habits were still pretty awful. I did somewhat of binge eating, emotional eating, probably because of all the stress that was going on at home. And it just was hard. I just put on weight and, got told a lot that that's just my body type, and really just struggled. And I still remember a pediatrician checking our cholesterol and it getting flagged high, but there was no follow through with that. But I remember that conversation. So I went to college and put on freshman 15, probably more than that, and which is kind of yo-yo diet. Did Weight Watchers, tried to calorie count down to a T, and just overall just struggled with my weight. I didn't really notice that anything else was wrong, but at that time I wasn't I wasn't checking my blood pressure regularly. I wasn't getting my cholesterol checked. You kind of have this idea when you're young that you're invincible and nothing bad can happen, and all the disease stuff from being overweight and everything comes much later. And I kind of hovered in this chubby state where I wasn't so big that I felt it was a huge red flag, but I was definitely overweight, so, and insecure about that. And I'm only 5 feet even, so I'm very short, and so any weight you would be able to see on my frame. And so that went on through high school, college, and then I got done with grad school and got engaged. And so me and my husband now, who I was engaged to, worked out a bunch. I got down again to, I thought when I was at 140, I was pretty happy. If I could get down to 130s, that would be crazy to me at that time, because I literally, I think I was 130 in 9th grade, and that was the lowest I've ever seen. So, we worked out a bunch every day. We're really regiment, lost the weight. I can show you some engagement photos here. And then I slowly started to like put it back on, like started working, still the same eating habits. You know, I would do the deprivation of calories, try to be real strict, and then like, you know, be so strict that then I would blow it out of the water. It wasn't sustainable. So, you know, that went on for a while. So then we got married. You know, I was kind of creeping up a little bit. I'll put a wedding photo in as well. I'll put photos in throughout this so you guys can have a visual. And we got married, got a house, and then I got a blood test taken through my husband's work. So they gave like all the spouses, you got like a discount if you got your blood taken. And all of my numbers were awful. My CRP, which I never heard of that, was 16. And so that came out like with a big red flag on this blood panel. And so I started Googling like, what is a CRP? It's C-reactive protein. Like, what is that test? Why is it so high? And the normal level is under 3. Now I did get the HS CRP. I know there's 2 different CRP tests. And it pretty much tracks if you're gonna get, it tracks how much inflammation's in your body, but it pretty much is a precursor if you're set up to get like heart disease and cancer. And so like 16 is incredibly high, and under 3 is the normal. And like if you can get it under 1, even better. And so that was the first like, oh my God, like, and I came from a history of heart disease and cancer, so that was really scary. I also had lots of other family members that had other issues with heart disease, especially, and so I was really kind of freaked out. And then my cholesterol was, you know, really high as well. So my total cholesterol was 242. Again, at this time, I'm 24 years old. So like, that's insanely high. And so that also freaked me out. And then at the same time, I was also having problems with my blood pressure. So my blood pressure was, you know, 140 over 92. And then it would be 150 over 100. And it kind of like stayed around that range like for a while, where my PCP put me on 2 different blood pressure medicines because they couldn't get it like lower. And so that was, I didn't want to be on like blood pressure medicine at 24, 25 years old. That was incredibly, you know, hard for me. And then I had like, you know, I was looking at getting on statins soon, and I had this CRP number that was super scary. So all of this is kind of like a little tornado. So you know, blood pressure medicine made me feel awful. I didn't like it. And I saw all my family members kind of like struggling and going through different things. And I saw like what my future held. And then the scale too. Like I was somebody who like never wanted to get on the scale. Like I kind of knew, I could tell like your body, you can feel it if you're overweight or if you have extra weight or if you're gaining weight. I could tell. And again, I'm only 5 feet even. And so the last time I got on the scale around this time, I was 185. And I already hated how I looked in photos. I was in a wedding and I had my photos taken, and when they came out, I was so mortified with how I looked that really was a wake-up call, along with the blood test, along with being on the medicine, and I just knew I had to make a change. So I'll put that photo in as well. And I just like, and even like I couldn't like walk up hills, felt difficult. I was starting to get a little bit of chest pain, like every now and again would be uncomfortable. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm headed down such a bad road. And so I started to do some research, and you know, I researched like how to lower CRP, and like Mediterranean diet comes up when you type it in. So I ate like lots of salmon and olive oil, and you know, like tried to do that whole, you know, adding in vegetables and stuff. Well, my CRP did not budge. Like I got it retested after doing that for a while, didn't move. Also my weight barely came off. And so I started, it was like the night before Easter, 3.5 years ago, and I was looking through Netflix, and you know, I watched a couple different health documentaries, and that's when I found Forks Over Knives, and I watched it. And if you have never seen Forks Over Knives, it's still free on Netflix. I'll put a link to it down below. It literally saved my life. because, and I think it clicked with me so much because when you watch it, the producer of the Forks Over Knives gets his test done, he gets his CRP done, he gets his cholesterol done, they take his blood pressure, and like all of his numbers were better than mine at his worst. And then you watch him take a whole food plant-based diet and his are all become excellent. And so I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And so I had that mindset. And then I also, you know, when you're watching Forks Over Knives, they talk about the China study in cancer, they talk about heart disease, and it just like all like clicked. Like everything just made sense, and that this is now how I have to eat. This is what I have to do to reverse any of my problems. And so literally I showed up at my family at Easter and was like, I can't eat ham or anything really here. And it's been like you have to learn how to eat. Like now what are you gonna eat? What are you gonna make that taste good? How are you going to make this sustainable, that now this is a lifestyle that you always want to do for the rest of your life, because this is the way that you need to eat to gain, you know, good health. And for me, that switch of like, okay, now I'm going to eat meat and now I'm not going to eat meat, and cheese is okay, or now cheese is bad for me, or junk food versus now I eat, you know, no refined sugar really. It just kind of like clicked for me, like this is going to feed my diseases that I'm going to get, or this is going to help me prevent them. And that's literally like that light bulb came on. And so that's been the easiest part. Like now I can look up food and be like, okay, I want to eat this because I want to prevent stuff, or if I eat this, this is going to help cause inflammation in my body, which is going to help promote disease. And so that's been really easy for me. But you know, you have to find foods that you like. And I tell you now, doing this for 3.5 years, I have so much more fun cooking, creating recipes, trying new foods. I feel like my palate is so much more adventurous now with all the different vegetables. I never had like Japanese sweet potatoes. I would have never even known what that was, you know, let alone that become one of my favorite foods. I've never really tried a date before. Obviously, if you've had a date, you know that they're delicious. And like so many other things that now are just awesome, and I get to have it every day, and my cooking has become so much more creative and better. And so just, you know, if you're just starting out this and you feel overwhelmed, it's okay. It's like day by day, take it. Everyone starts somewhere. You have to be kind to yourself, and it's a journey. And I'm still learning. I'm still trying new foods. I'm still finding out what's my favorite. I'm making dishes and bringing them. And I'll tell you what, every time I bring a dish to any party, family event, holiday, whatever, my dish always goes. And sometimes at the beginning, I brought the dish just for me, and then I didn't have anything to eat because everyone else wanted to sample it. So don't be afraid to take it to a family gathering, to, you know, a party, whatever. People are going to like it and want to try it. You don't have to like label it, you know, vegan or whole food, plant-based, healthy. You know, just put it there and let people try it. And the food really does taste good, I'll tell you. I have so much fun making all these recipes for this channel and trying out other people's recipes that, you know, every week I'm like trying out something new and discovering it. And it's, now when you go out to eat at a restaurant, it's like, you know, I joke around with my husband that, you know, I kind of ruined him now for when he goes out, because he'll come home and then talk about how much better, you know, having a home cooked meal that we make that's whole food, plant-based, and how much better he feels after. Because I'll tell you what, if you go whole food, plant-based and then you go out and have an oily fast food or oily whatever, you're going to pay for it the next day because your body is not going to like it. But just stick with it and try different things and be adventurous and have an open mind. So the results, let's talk about the results. So after being whole food, plant-based, every, you know, 6 months I'd go and get my blood work done. Now for me, it wasn't like my CRP went from 16 to under 1 like that. It did take a year or two for it to slowly start coming down, but I would get a test and then it would be like 8. So it was cut in half. I'd get it test and it would be, you know, 5, and I saw it come down, but I was persistent with what I was eating. I didn't go back to eating whatever, you know, I kept it. And sometimes it takes your body a while to heal and come back down. I think about like how long I damaged my body, and you know, then we go whole food plant-based and we want everything to be fixed within a week or a month, and it takes a while. You have to stick with it. And so now, doing this for 3.5 years later, yes, my CRP number is now super low, but it took a little bit. And was I frustrated? Yes. After a year, and it went cut in half by an 8, I was like frustrated why it wasn't under a 1, or you know, why my cholesterol was, you know, went from 246 down to 160, why it wasn't under 150. And it took a little while. Now my numbers are really great for my cholesterol. 150. Same with blood pressure. My blood pressure now is like 110 over like 70. Okay. And resting heart rate. My resting heart rate before I started all this was in the 90s. My resting heart rate now it goes between 50 and 60. And so it's so cool to see all of your numbers slowly come into place. And I'm sorry if my puppies are playing off camera. But it does take a while, so stick with it. Don't give up. It does take some time sometimes, and you know, have all of this hope that you can achieve health, you can help your body heal, you can help, you know, live a life that you want. I went from like not wanting to walk up, we have a hill by our house, not wanting to, like avoiding the hill, to then booking vacations where we climb mountains, and I'll post some vacation photos here. So it really, if I can do this, you can do this. And it's really about finding like what motivates you. For me, it was seeing my family members so sick, seeing all the pain, and that's why I wanted to create this channel, because I want to inspire you guys to try new recipes and get your family healthy. I'm somebody who unfortunately had to go through a lot of heartache from disease. You know, I have a father who right now currently is fighting diabetes. Does he want to listen to my advice? No, which is very frustrating. And, you know, has to take high blood pressure medicine, and he's had to have stents put in, and has a defibrillator and all these different things. So seeing how, you know, it's hard for him to go on walks, and he has to go to a bunch of doctor's appointments and get eye injections now because his diabetes is bad, is hard. And then my mom, you know, if you've been following this channel, you know she passed in June. And so she had stage 4 breast cancer again. Now, I'm not saying that like whole food plant-based will cure everyone, that people still won't get cancer, bad stuff can still happen. It can, but doing this reduces your risk. So, sorry, my puppies someone must be delivering mail around here. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm not saying that a whole food plant-based diet will cure all diseases. I'm not saying people won't still get cancer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it reduces your risk, and that's why I believe in it fully. If you think about your genes, or genes in general, I got a pretty not so great hand. So what am I going to do? Am I going to sit at home and like think like, well, I'm going to get this disease? Definitely. No, I'm going to do everything in my power to help reduce my risk for getting those diseases, so that I can be here for my family, so I can start a family with my husband. So hopefully I grow really old and live, you know, a really healthy life up until the point where I'm ready, when it's over. So that's my goal. That's what I made this channel. I want to help your family get healthy. I want to help you reduce your risk for any lifestyle preventable diseases, and just overall live a healthy, long life. And so I hope this motivated you. I hope that you make a choice. Maybe it's what you're eating for dinner tonight. Maybe it's what you eat for breakfast all week. But to move towards a plant-based diet, because I truly believe that is what is going to help reduce our risk for all of these different diseases. And it's so important that you feel empowered, that anytime you eat something, you can either help prevent or cause illness. And I do believe that fully in my heart. And so I hope that this video helped you. I hope my channel is helping you. I'm so happy to say that we reached 10,000 subscribers. That's pretty insane. When I started this, I thought no one would watch. So I'm just over the moon about that. And I want to thank all of you guys for watching this and continuing to share my story and to help inspire your family and you to really help prevent your risk for any of these awful diseases. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe, share this with a friend, and I will see you guys in the next one. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.